She'd made friends when she'd gone to school for veterinary medicine, but she and Bennett had gone together, and those friends were mostly mutual friends. If they ever came to town to visit, it included Bennett. If she took a trip to visit them, it often included Bennett. The man was up in absolutely everything, and the effects of it had been magnified recently as her world had narrowed thanks to their mutually demanding work schedule. That amount of intense, focused time with him never failed to put her in a somewhat pathetic emotional space. Hence, the very necessary date. Then, her phone started vibrating because it was ringing, and she couldn't ignore that. "I'm sorry," she said. "Excuse me." It was Bennett. Her heart slammed into her throat. She should not answer it. She really shouldn't. She thought that even while she was pressing the green accept button. "What's up?" she asked. "Calving drama. I have a breech one. I need some help." Bennett sounded clipped and stressed, and he didn't stress easily. He delivered countless calves over the course of the season, but a breech birth was never good. If the rancher didn't call him in time, there was rarely anything that could be done. And if Bennett needed some assistance, then the situation was probably extreme. "Where are you?" she asked, darting a quick look over to Michael and feeling like a terrible human for being marginally relieved by this interruption. "Out of town at Dave Miller's place. Follow the driveway out back behind the house." "See you soon." She hung up the phone and looked down at her half-finished dinner. "I am so sorry," she said, forcing herself to look at Michael's face. "There is a veterinary emergency. I have to go." She stood up, collecting her purse and her jacket. "I really am sorry. I tried to cover everything, but my partner, it's a barnyard thing. He needs help." Michael looked understanding, and Kaylee almost wished that he wouldn't, that he would be mad, so she would have an excuse to storm off and never have dinner with him again, that he would be unreasonable in some fashion so that she could call the date experiment a loss and go back to making no attempts at a romantic life whatsoever. But he didn't. "Of course," he said. "You can't let something happen to an animal just because you're on a dinner date." "I really can't," she said. "I'm sorry." She reached into her purse and pulled out a $20 bill. She put it on the table and offered an apologetic smile before turning and leaving, before he didn't accept her contribution to the dinner. She was not going to make him pay for the entire meal on top of everything. "Have a good evening," the hostess said as Kaylee walked toward the front door of the restaurant. "Please dine with us again soon." Kaylee muttered something and headed outside, stumbling a little bit when her kitten heel caught in a crack in the sidewalk. That was the highest heels she ever wore, since she was nearly 6 feet tall in flats, and towering over one's date was not the best first impression. But she was used to cowgirl boots, and not these spindly, fiddly things that hung up on every imperfection. They were impractical, and how any woman walked around in stilettos was beyond her. The breeze kicked up, reminding her that March could not be counted on for warm spring weather, as the wind stung her bare legs. The cost of wearing a dress, which also had her feeling pretty stupid right about now. She always felt weird in dresses, owing that to her stick figure and excessive height. She'd had to be tough from an early age. With parents who ultimately ended up ignoring her existence, she'd had to be self-sufficient. It had suited her to be a tomboy because spending time outdoors, running around barefoot and climbing trees, far away from the fight scenes her parents continually staged in their house, was better than sitting at home. Better to pretend she didn't like lace and frills, since her bedroom consisted